There's one advice I'll give to the listeners out there. Like, this is directly from experience, and I hope they can take this advice as well, because it's something that really helped me.
Why did we start Statera Trading, and what are our motives? Hi, and welcome back to Statera Trading. I'm joined by the other co-founder, Jacob, and we're going to go through some quick fire questions today so you can understand more about the founders and about the company. Jacob, how are we doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad. So, yeah, as I said, we'll just jump through some quick fire questions just to let everybody know exactly who we are.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. I'm excited to speak with you about this and give our listeners some introductions about what we are all about and what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. So, yeah, let's dive right into it.
Let's do it.
So, yeah, I'm guessing people will want to know exactly how we meet, won't they?
Yeah, I think so. It'll probably be a good way to start to just hear more about that, how we met in the first place, and how we decided to join up. So do you remember how we actually met in the first place?
I think it was you reached out to me on Instagram. Let me just double check. It must have been early 2022. Just 2 seconds.
Nah, not 2022.
No, 2020, I think it was 2020.
Yeah, like early. I think it was early 2020. Yeah, much earlier than 22.
Yeah.
That's probably around there. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. 23rd of February 2020. That's when you reached out to me. I think I shared a YouTube video on some trading community, and you reached out to me. Yeah, just thanking me for sharing the video and asking me how long I've been in the community.
And after that, I think we just started chatting, right? I think it was because I was like impressed about the style you had, the style of trading you had. And then I thought it was gracious of you to share your knowledge, and I just wanted to thank you for that because I appreciate it. And then I just sent you a message to let you know, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think at that time, you just congratulated me on passing my FTMO. That was short-lived.
yeah. FTMO, for if listeners don't know what that is, it's like a prop firm where you can get funded with money for your trading.
Yeah. So I passed that, and I lost the account pretty much straight away. So yeah, that's trading. That's trading for you.
That's trading, and all a good experience and all a good lessons, right? So
exactly. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm from Scotland. Jacob's from Denmark, so quite a big distance away. But we started connecting because we share the same passion.
Yeah. So that was great. So let's go on to the next question. How? Let me see. Like, how did you actually in the first place? I know we've spoken about we met, but at that point when we met, we were into trading already. But how did you actually get into trading in the first place?
Yeah, so from a young age, probably when I was like 16, my dad was trying to get me involved in the stock market first and foremost, because he was an avid investor, and he was telling me about how, if you can get in from the stock market early, it makes people retire early because they have that big capital behind it. And I wasn't really interested until I was about 18. My dad gave me a bit of money to put in an ISA and said, look, you've got to make these investments. I told you years ago. And can you just explain, what is an ISA? It's some kind of an investment account that you can get in the UK, right? Yeah, so it's a stocks and shares investment account that anything you make is tax free. You're only allowed to put in 20,000 a year, but 20,000 a year to put in, it's a lot of extra cash. But yeah,
and just let us put it out there. You say it's tax free, but in the UK, it's a legal way to make it tax free, right?
In the UK, it's a legal way of investing in the stock market and making tax-free gains, which is a brilliant asset. But yeah. So my father gave me money and told me I need to invest it. So that's when my journey started. And from that, I was like, okay, it's all good and well investing, but I want to be active in the market, and that's where I come across, forex trading, and still today, still doing it. So yeah, the rest is history.
Nice. And was that just like you say you came across forex trading? Was it a friend who told you about it? Did you see a video, or did you watch some kind of commercial? Or
no, it was all these Instagram gurus that come up on my feed once. I was always there for the investments, and then it was like, oh, these boys were making tens of thousands, and yeah, I never fell for any of the scams, but I was always intrigued into, that seems big money. How can I do that? So yeah, that's one of the ways that I came across it.
Yeah.
What about yourself? How did you get involved?
I got involved when, like, my very first beginning with trading and investment, I would say, was when I was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 14 years old, I got my very first stock, which I got from my mom and dad. So they bought me this. That's a very young age, yeah. So it was a stock in the local bank, and from that point on, I was really, really excited about getting this stock, and I started, to follow this bank stock in the local newspaper, and I started to, figure out, okay, what does it mean when the percentage is plus, and what does it mean when the percentage is minus, and in that way I got into the investing world, right?
Yeah.
And then for many years since then, I was more on the side of the investing part of trading and investing, and then I always had that picture that I wanted to be, just a long-term investor, which I am also today, but I never really had any idea about trading, and especially not about forex trading. But then one day I met a guy, which is one of my good friends today, and we were at a wedding together, actually, and we didn't know each other beforehand. And then we started to speak, and I said that I was investing, but it was more long term. And then he started to tell me, well, he also did that, but he also traded forex. And then obviously I asked him, what is forex trading? I knew a little bit about it, but then he told me about it, and we started chatting about this and had a really, really good conversation. And since then we kept in contact, and we started, doing some trading together. And that was basically when it all started. Obviously, some years after I got my first stock, and then that's when I started to really, spend all of my time on forex trading, and since then, of course, still keeping my long-term investments as well. But then I'm just expanded my knowledge into forex trading, and further on, automated trading and so on. So that's where I got my start, and has been doing that ever since then. So
been some journey you've been on so far.
Yeah, great journey, and lots of lessons since then. That's what it's all about, right?
That's the beauty of trading and investing. There's lots of ups and down moments.
Exactly. What was your, like, when you got into trading? What was your motive to get into trading in the first place?
Well, my motive, first and foremost, like in the early days, I was obviously just learning about the forex market, but I went to university and done a mechanical and offshore engineering degree because it seemed like the logical thing to do. With being in Scotland, there's lots of oil and gas, and everybody kind of goes into it if you want to make a bit of money. But I realized that, like, when I was there, I really was not enjoying it. I would spend most of my time, rather than going to university, staying at home and learning about forex. So, I went all in on forex because my motive was, I don't want to be doing what everybody else is doing at university. I started realizing that, started asking myself the basic questions, is this what I want to do for the next 40 years of my life? And, trade that asset of time and never getting it back to do something I don't want to do. And, that just gave me all the motivation I needed to go full on trading. I realized that, trading is not going to be easy. If you look at the statistics, it is not in your favor. But I knew if I gave that small sacrifice of putting in the hours, putting in the work, then it would pay dividends, because, my overall goal in life is to have that financial freedom so that I can, do what I want when I want, and have the luxury of, being my own boss. Then, if I want to go to the gym at 11 in the morning, I can do it. If I want to go on holiday next week, I can do it and still work and make a living for myself.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What was your motive behind getting into trading and doing what you're doing?
Yeah. So getting into trading itself, not investment, but later on when I got into trading, I remember when I spoke to my now friend, he told me about trading, right? And I could feel instantly the excitement I had as a 14-year-old when I got into investing, right? That new challenge and that new topic about the whole with economy and finance and so on. I just remember that total excitement I had as a 14-year-old, right? And if I could get that in forex trading on a more day-to-day basis, whereas with investing it was just once in a while when I looked at my investment, right, and investments. But with trading I could maybe get that more or less each day, right? So that was the first thing that was my motive, that I could get that excitement on a more regular basis. And then on top of that, I've always been a person that loved to learn new things and to challenge myself and to develop. So I saw this whole new area of the economy and the investment world, which was forex trading, as a new way for me to challenge myself and to learn new things and to develop, right? And that whole thing about going into that really excited me. So I thought, okay, this is great, and I already love investing. So getting into some more active trading will just be great for me. Let's go for it. Let's challenge myself. Let's see where it will take me. And if I enjoy it, then I'll keep doing it. And then obviously I'm still here to trade. So I really enjoyed it and still do.
Yeah. So obviously with you being a little bit older than me, you've been through multiple financial crashes. How did you keep your motivation in those situations with being an avid investor for that length of time?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm always taking it as a learning experience. So when you hear some of the more seasoned investors and traders, they say it's something that you can only learn these things by going through them, right? That's something I took to heart, because it's something I learned from, because it's something that I always looked upon as, well, it might go down now, but what comes after a downturn is an upturn will come. So I can only learn from this and then remember the good things and the less good things until next time, and then just carry on from there. It's part of my development. So that's how I've gone through them.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the beauties. You can see that you went through multiple crashes and you're still here today doing the same thing, thriving.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's, if you take it a little bit more into our company today, right? So you and I have we have launched and built Statera Trading, our trading company together. So can you maybe give a brief explanation to our listeners about why did we actually start? Why did we build Statera Trading in the first place? Yeah,
so originally, both of us are manual traders, and we both work as well. So when we're trading our manual strategies, it's not always the easiest to execute every trade. I'm pretty sure you'll feel the exact same way. Manual strategies can require you sometimes to get up at the early hours in the morning, and if you don't want to interrupt your sleep, then you could possibly miss that trade. From this, we obviously created systems that are through algorithms that trade for ourselves. So from this, we then created Statera because we want to offer other people that opportunity that we didn't have when we were starting out. So we see many benefits to automated trading. One of them meaning that you freed up a lot more time to focus on other key areas in your life, such as building, your relationships, your health. Health's so important that people neglect. And creating that balance in our lives, which is why the name of our company is Statera, because in Latin, Statera means balance. Yeah. We also want to offer, obviously, give that opportunity to people to, create that diversification, create that passive income. rather than relying on, I don't know, interest rates in your savings accounts. The stock market, when it goes bad, I mean, right now, I think that's now a year where it's been going down. So, and, bonds and other financial instruments that people would probably go into more than what do trading is. So yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons, we want to help people where we didn't have that help when we were first starting out. Traders struggle with consistency, and we can bring them that. So I think, that's why we built Statera. Would you agree? Or do you have anything you want to add?
No, I fully agree. So like everything you just said, and then we, as you said, we want to help people, give them the opportunity to get an alternative passive income, right? Where they can diversify their portfolio, rather than relying on the interest from the bank or fully investing in S&P or bonds or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then also, as you said, it was, help people become consistent, because as most of us know, lots of traders, they fail due to the lack of consistency, right? But with automated trading, the algo, or the expert advisor, as it's also called, is the consistent part for you, right? So you don't have to do anything, but you'll be consistent just by using that. So that's what we wanted to do.
And one of the benefits that comes through algo trading as well is we've got 10 plus years of data to test from. So we've got some really reliable results in terms of what our algo is producing, and that's all down to having that data and being able to backtest in such a short space of time, where most people won't have that time. So we take that element away as well. So again, there's so many benefits to what we do. So many benefits. Yeah, it has been a great journey to venture into to automated trading when we started doing that, for sure. Yeah. All right, Blayn. So let's try to end the conversation with some rapid fire questions, a little bit more lighthearted for our listeners to get some quick answers to some quick questions, right? Yeah. So should we start with, let's say I ask you some rapid fire questions, and then afterwards you can ask me the same question. Let's see what answers we get. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, let's try it. All right. So the first question I want to ask you, Blayn, what do you do to unwind? Oh, to unwind, I mean, I'm very much a person that just works. But when I'm feeling that little bit tired, to cool down, I do like listening to some audiobooks on psychology. Like one of the ones that I recently just listened to was How to Think Like a Roman Empire. Loved it. Just learning. To be fair, I like to learn when I'm unwinding. Listening to some music, listening to a podcast, or listening to like an audiobook. Because I mean, audiobooks is the thing that I go for mostly. I love listening to audiobooks, and I would say that's how I unwind mostly. What about yourself? Great. I do like to work out. That could be all kind of workouts, but that's one thing I definitely enjoy to unwind. Then I enjoy to read books. I read a lot of books. Then I like to, on a little bit more relaxed side, I like to watch football. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, we do share that same passion. Yeah, for sure. We have been speaking a lot about football. Then I like to actually also go for walks, especially when it's near nature or in nature. And then I like to do meditation and mindfulness exercises in one or the other way. So that's a few of the things I like to do to unwind. So next thing, what is one thing on your bucket list? Well, I love to travel around the world. So I've got heaps of things on my bucket list. I always at least try to tick off one a year, but one of the ones that I'm really keen on going to is it's actually in Peru, and it's going to the Rainbow Mountains. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it just looks amazing. But I just want to tick off places to go around. I want to build a portfolio of all these countries that I've been to and seen all these things. I just love looking at different cultures, and if we're speaking about in the UK, one of my bucket list is I like watching the darts in winter, and I want to go to the Ali Pali to, watch a PDC final. I just love that sort of
great.
thing. Yeah,
That's a great
it
thing.
just looks like such a great atmosphere. But obviously, you always want to go to a Champions League final and a World Cup final in football as well. So I could go on forever.
I could go on, yeah. That's great to have something to look forward to and go after, for sure.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Good question, actually. I would say, because, as I said earlier, I've always really enjoyed learning and developing, right? So one thing on my bucket list will be, in one of the other way, to give back this excitement of learning and actually being able to develop yourself, because I think it's part of human nature, right? So it's something that actually innate in people, but not all people in the world we're living in has the same opportunity as you and I have had, where we could just go to a school and learn, right? So one day I'm not sure in what kind of format it will be yet, but in one of the other way, I'll love to be able to give back to people who haven't had the same opportunity as I've had to learn, to go to school, and give them that opportunity, whether that'll be through, helping people in some of the least developed worlds to be able to go to school, or to learn, to get teaching in online, offline, whatever that might be, right? Like, however the world looks like when this will be possible. That's one of the things I'll love to be able to do in the future.
Yeah, such a wholesome thing in your bucket list there.
Yeah. But it's something that I'm really passionate about, because it's something that has really, been a big part of my life to be able to learn and develop.
Yeah, well,
and which is something I think I appreciate a lot. I'm very grateful for, but also sometimes, if we don't think about these things, maybe it's something we take for granted, right? But when you really think about it, it's something that we're really fortunate to have, and not everybody has it, right? So being able to help other people who don't have it so far, that would be great.
I think that's the thing, when you're stuck in your, not stuck, but, when you're in your own world working away, you just don't really think about other countries that are, less fortunate. Just waking up every day and having a meal on your table is very fortunate compared to some places in the world.
It is very fortunate, yeah. So we really have to appreciate that and be grateful for it. And
Exactly.
So if you go on to the next one, do you have any podcast or YouTube channel that has, made an impact or changed something in your life?
I want to think about that. I'm not really one to really watch YouTube or I listen to some podcasts on trading from time to time, but it's just more for ideas for building systems. But no, I wouldn't say there's too much that's really impacted my life in terms of a podcast or a YouTube. What's really impacted my life is reading books, or an audio book. There's so many out there that are so good.
So many gems.
Yeah, if I was going to list a list, it would go on for quite a while.
Yeah. That's fine. That's great.
What about yourself? Do you watch any YouTube channels? I know you listen to podcasts, but is there any that have impacted your life?
Yeah, I'll see. I would say if one of the two, I would say mostly it will be more podcast over YouTube. But obviously there's a lot of good YouTube channels, but I would say more podcasts. But then also, as you, a lot of books as well. But if I have to mention, let me see, some podcast, I would say, if we should give a good recommendation actually within the trading world, I would say, I think a lot of traders already know this podcast, but it's called Chat with Traders.
Yeah.
It's a very good, very, very, they have a lot of episodes. I would say because they've just changed hosts, so there are 2 new hosts now. Earlier it was he was called Aaron who started the podcast. And there's a lot of good interviews with a lot of different traders from all areas of the trading world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a lot of, it's more like you get inspiration here. You get ideas from these people.
Yeah.
Like it can be about mindset. You get some ideas about, you can relate to and then dig deeper into it. Or it could be about automated trading or algo trading, or it could be about manual trading, or you're introduced to a lot of new subjects within the industry that you didn't know about, right? And so in that way, you can get a lot of new knowledge about trading. So chat with traders for the trading related. I would say outside of trading, I would say a really good podcast which has it's almost like an audiobook, because some of the interviews are that long, rather than if you listen to a few of them, it's almost as long as a book. That'll be the Tim Ferriss podcast. Again, a little bit the same as chat with traders, because there is so many people from different areas and non-trading related, right? Of many different areas of life where you can learn a lot from and get inspired by it, right? I've picked up a lot of different books from that podcast, because then he has different authors on, or different researchers or professors, or people who have been through rough patches in their life or whatnot, right? So you can get a lot of inspiration from there and then dig deeper into it. So I'll say those two.
Interesting. I know you've shared quite a few Chat with Traders podcasts to myself, just to get some inspiration and ideas from as well, which I really appreciate. I've really enjoyed some of it.
Yeah, there's some really good episodes on that one for sure.
Yeah.
But when we speak about books, right? So both of us has mentioned books have played a big part in our life. So if you should mention a trading or an investment book that has made an impact or changed something in your life, what would that be?
Yeah.
Which book would that be? I
think we'll both have the same answer, and many traders out there will have the same answer to this. It's got to be Trading in the Zone. It's just,
sure.
it just transforms the way you think about trading. And I mean, I don't want to go too much into it. Just pick up the book and read for yourself. But it's one of the reasons that I went down to be a more mechanical trader. When you read everything in it, it works. It just makes sense to do that mechanical trading, which is also basically what algo trading is. Algo trading is just a mechanical way of manual trading. But yeah, Trading in the Zone, without a doubt, there's so much gems in there, and you can read it 2 or 3 times, and you'll take something new away from it every time.
Exactly, and I have the same answer to that. It will be Trading in Zone. There's one advice I'll give to the listeners out there. Like, this is directly from experience, and I hope they can take this advice as well, because it's something that really helped me. I read Trading in the Zone when I was just starting out my trading career with forex, right? And at that point, I thought it was good, but not really more than that. And the reason for that was that I didn't have any experience in trading, right? Mm-hmm. So I couldn't really relate to everything he said there, both on the technical side of trading and on the mindset part, right? I could relate, but I didn't fully understand it, because I didn't have that experience myself, been through all these rough patches and mindset issues and everything, right? But then the more times I've read, I read the book. So I've read this book. This is the trading book I've read the most times, right? I've read it more than a handful of times.
Yeah, same here.
The more times I've read it, and the more experience I got, the more I was like, I had these aha moments where it's like, oh, right, okay, so that's what he meant about that. I can totally relate to that now, right? So I'd say the more times you read it, and with the more experience you have, the better the book will be. That's at least how I experienced it, right?
Yeah, it's one of these books where it's something different will resonate to you, depending on where you are in your journey with trading and your experience.
Exactly.
Something you always. Exactly. That's why I love it. It's something that I'll go back to and read this year again, because where I am this year to last year is a totally different place. So it'll be good to pick up and read again.
And if there's just one more book we can mention for our listeners, is on one book that really got me even more excited about automated trading than I already am, right? That's the book called The Man Who Sold the Market: How Jim Simmons Launched the Quant Revolution, right? It's basically a book that tells the story about Jim Simmons, and enough said. I just think the listeners should really read it if they are into automated trading, because it's such a great book. If you like this area of trading.
That's actually definitely another book that I'll take inspiration from. It's one of the reasons, when I started algo trading, it was one of the books that I listened to in Audible, and wow, what a story! What a story! That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next question. We just have a few. Let's make them rapid fire questions here and answers. Has there been any people? Has any people been an inspiration to you within the trading or investment world, and why?
I mean, I admire lots of traders, but I wouldn't say I'm inspired by them. I've always been very motivated in what I do, and I don't really need to pull inspiration from others to do trading. It's just something I love doing and something I love developing. Yeah, I'll read some books into, how they've went about it, but I wouldn't say I'm inspired by them because, I have that motivation behind trading. So yeah, I mean, not really. What about yourself?
I will say, if you keep it short, I would say Mark Douglas. Within trading and investment, it has been Mark Douglas, because he's one of the persons who, without me ever meeting him, obviously, then one of the persons who's given me like the biggest and broadest perspective on trading, and especially on the mindset you need within trading. He's the godfather of, well, one of the godfathers of mindset and psychology within trading. So such a genuine and humble and generous guy. So I would say him. So is there anybody outside trading and investment world that has inspired you?
When I was younger, obviously I used to play football, and my first goal in life was to be a footballer. So yeah, I loved watching. I was fascinated always by skills in football. So from a young age, I loved watching Neymar, and I'd actually pull out the YouTube and watch skill videos in Neymar as just the inspiration before a game of football, just to get in that mindset. So yeah, I always loved Neymar from a young age. Got lots of footballers out there though that, as a youngster, you'll probably resonate as well. Like you take inspiration from loads of different players, but Neymar's the one that I just loved watching.
Definitely. Yeah. I would say from my side, outside of trading and investment, I would say two people that has made a big impact on me has been Dalai Lama and Thich Nhat Hanh. And it's two meditation teachers from the Buddhist world, and those two guys, their books are so profound. It's like they're almost like their books are like poetry. Like the insights they give into that world has changed my mindset and the way I view the world a lot. So all right, so let's try to wrap it up. Let's see, like, quick ones here. What advice would you give to your young self?
Don't play PlayStation for so long and worry about the things that matter.
That's a great advice. Great advice.
What about yourself?
A few things that have really helped me has been focus on what you can control and ignore the rest. That's basically a good advice. And the last one is, Epictetus said, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well.
Okay, so there you have it. Now you know more about who's behind the company, what their motives are, and how they want to help you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and you've took some value from it. Coming very soon, we do have our beta launch for our first algorithm, Sequenti. Now, if you're interested in this, please visit our website and sign up to the beta launch to get first-hand information about when we're launching. Now, if you don't think you're the right fit for our algos, then we do have a free assessment tool that you can also sign up for, that you can learn a little bit more about what it is and see if you're the right fit. As usual, please give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Until then, I wish you a good day, and I hope you join us in our journey of helping add balance to people's lives.